Monosso is joining us right now from Fox News Radio to talk about a different Mr. Trump-related story where the president said, if they don't get their act together in Chicago, I'm sending in federal help. Jeff, good afternoon.
Hey, Mark.
Hey, what form is he talking about sending help in? Are we talking about troops? Are we talking about the FBI, ATF? What do you think?
It remains to be seen what kind of federal help would be brought into Chicago should the city not get the crime wave, the soaring crime epidemic that we've seen under control. It's been a war of words between Mayor Rahm Emanuel in recent days. Actually, the war of words, dates back months and months into the campaign. But, recently, after the mayor blasted the president for saying he didn't get elected to debate the size of the inauguration crowd, then Tuesday, President Trump took to Twitter, as you know, basically saying if Chicago doesn't get the carnage under control, that he is going to send in the feds. And so what Mayor Emanuel did yesterday is addressed the media in a packed briefing room in City Hall and saying what I think he should have said, what I think he needed to say, and that's putting some ice on this fire and saying, look, we welcome the federal help. We welcome federal help from the FBI, Department of Justice, Department of Homeland Security, in a partnership with local law enforcement and dealing with guns and gangs and drug dealing. To get the crime wave, the soaring crime wave, out of control, and it really is carnage. People have taken to Twitter and publicly said that these are dark words that the president is using. Well, to date this year, 45 shot and killed. 45 killed, I should say, with an additional 264 people shot. One of the latest headlines in local news is 14 wounded across Chicago in shootings on Wednesday, including a mass shooting where 6 people were shot last night, including a 12-year-old girl who were all attending a vigil for another woman who was gunned down in recent days. So, for the 95% of the law-abiding citizens on Chicago's south and west sides, where much of this crime is taking place, who want to see their children be able to freely play in their backyards, who want to live a normal life and just go to work and have a nice home and a nice life, and who are imprisoned in their neighborhoods, it is carnage, and something needs to be done and done now.
It's a great point, Jeff. That's almost 2 dead a day, every day so far in this new year. You have to think to yourself, I listened to Luis Gutierrez earlier complaining about the fact that it's guns, but it's not that simple because they certainly have guns in the gangs of L.A. and New York, but their murder rates are half of what we've experienced in Chicago.
Well, and the difference between New York and L.A. is police departments, law enforcement officials. They're tough on crime, and they do what it takes to stop it. Look, if you get busted with a gun in New York, you're going to jail for 2 years, automatic, no questions asked. See you later. Here, as we've heard from not only the former police commissioner or the former police superintendent, but the current superintendent, Eddie Johnson, who, by the way, in recent weeks has asked for federal help. That's pretty telling. But he says the criminal justice system here in Chicago, it's a revolving door. You get busted, a repeat gun offender gets busted for a gun on a Friday, and they're walking the streets by Monday or Tuesday. And so it's a different ideology in terms of how policing is done, and the former superintendent, Gary McCarthy, basically said that, look, it's, politics has gotten in the way of policing. Sure. And with the quote-unquote Ferguson effect, as I know that you're aware of, especially having spent so much time in your neck of the woods because of that, police departments, including the one here in Chicago, many cops are afraid to do their job.
Yeah, it's kind of sad, and it makes you wonder how much of that blame goes back to Springfield and the state capitol. But I know a lot of these are probably city judges that are letting people off. But I don't know. There's a lot of blame to go around. Jeff Monosso, Fox News Radio, thanks for your time.
You bet.
Yep, I appreciate it. How about that? A network reporter pointing out the fact that the Ferguson effect is alive and well in the city of Chicago. And what is the Ferguson effect when you think about that? Is it just a lack of enforcement by police? Or does it come out the other end as well? And you'll get my double entendre there. What the point of Ferguson, in my opinion, in a lot of cases, obviously not the people who passionately showed up the day Mike Brown got killed, but as it grew, as outside forces influenced Ferguson, what was the goal? To change the criminal justice system, to reduce the penalties for crimes, to keep police from quote-unquote harassing people, which from a police officer's perspective is called proactive policing. It's not harassment. It's driving around at 2 a.m. and seeing some guys standing in an alley and pulling up and asking them what the heck they're doing. That's not harassment. But that's part of the Ferguson effect as well. It's all-encompassing. And it's fascinating to me to hear Jeff Monosso point that out in the city of Chicago, where they're feeling it now. He's right. Last night, 6 people, including a 12-year-old girl, were shot on the Chicago South Side during a memorial for a victim of a previous shooting. It's just out of control. And now Donald Trump's claimed he's going to do something about it. It'll be interesting to see. If you've noticed so far, have you noticed a trend since he's taken office? He talked a lot about these promises